Hello and welcome to Factory of Fear. Today we're going to be talking about Redditor JasonInHell and the worst week of his life. Throughout this video I'm going to be doing a couple narrations, and if you don't want to listen to the full narrations but you want to get a summary of what I'm trying to say, a time code will be on screen and you can just skip to there and you'll be able to get a quick summary of what I was saying. On to the story. On October 29th, 2016, user JasonInHell posted on the relationship advice subreddit asking for advice on what to do about the situation he was in with his wife, who he caught cheating on him with his neighbor.
It has been 476 days since I confronted her about it. How do I know? Because every time I catch myself thinking about it, I tell myself, it's only been X days, maybe you won't think about it tomorrow. So to go back to the beginning, I had just taken on a new project and new responsibilities at work. I was working a lot of hours, 60 plus, per week, and was noticeably stressed. It was in May of 2015 that I noticed that she had added a password to her phone. When confronted about it, she told me it was because she was planning my Father's Day present and didn't want me to ruin the surprise. About a week later, she told me that she felt guilty keeping a big secret from me and told me that she was having our neighbor, a contractor, build a home office for me as my present. It struck me as odd, as in our 6 years together she never said she felt guilty about anything, and always insists that she never regrets anything in life. Time goes on. Her phone is still password protected, and things don't feel right. I see her using her phone and smiling to herself more and more often, but when I ask her what she's doing, she says nothing and puts her phone away. So one morning I wait for her to get into the shower, and I grab her phone before it requires the password. I go through her messages and find she is texting the neighbor. I am all covered in frosting. You want to lick it off? There were no other messages to the neighbor, but I found out later that was because she had set up her phone to delete messages after a certain amount of time. I felt uncomfortable with it, but I knew she had a perverted sense of humor, and I thought she would never do anything to hurt me. More time goes by, and the neighbor is spending more and more time at her house, but the office is being completed slower and slower. I can't help but worry that something isn't right, so I start checking her location using Google Timeline. It was at this point that I realized there were large gaps in her GPS history because she was turning off her phone's GPS. Fast forward to July, and at this point, the paranoia is driving me nuts, so I tell her I need to install a new antivirus on her phone. While she has it unlocked for me, I install anti-theft software so I can remotely turn the GPS back on and set up AT&T message backup and restore so I can read all of her text messages from that point on my computer. The next day, my mother asked to spend time with my two kids, so my wife drops them off with her and has the day to herself. I watch my wife's activity from work as she spends the day trying to meet up with the neighbor, but is unsuccessful because he is busy with another job site. That night, we get the kids back from my mom's house, and we go out to dinner with the neighbor, his girlfriend, and his son. My wife and his girlfriend are having a good time drinking, laughing, and just joking around. His girlfriend mentions that she would like to see Magic Mike XXL. I say it's a good idea, I'll watch my kids so my wife and her can go. So my wife and her go, and the neighbor and I go back to my house so they can play video games together. The kids are in the back in my son's room playing games, and the neighbor is sitting across from me on the other couch. It is at this point that my wife starts texting him. She is describing sex acts that she would like to perform with him, and he is reciprocating. She tells him to check his Snapchat, and at the same time I get a Snapchat from her too, and is her fingering herself in the bathroom stall. They keep talking, trying to figure out when they can meet up and have sex. They decide Monday morning after I go to work. So in my head, I have already planned to pretend to leave and circle back to catch them, but then they tell each other that they love each other, and it is all I can do to not leap off the couch and knock him out. But I contain myself and continue reading in the conversation unfolding in front of me. Then he tells her, "You're my girl now," to which she replies, "Always have been," ending with him writing, "and always will be." My wife and the neighbor's girlfriend return from the movie, and I ask them politely to sit down. I then ask my kids to stay in my son's room and shut the door. I return to the living room and confront my wife and the neighbor. I say, "So you two love each other, huh?" My wife goes into full-blown denial mode, and the neighbor's girlfriend starts smacking him. I ask my wife if she has been texting him. She says no, so I show her the text messages. She admits to it, but says it was the first time it had gone that far. I ask my wife if she had sent him pictures. She says no, so I show her the picture. She admits it, but says it was the first time. I ask her if they were having sex, and she says no. Because I didn't want to catch them having sex together, I didn't have evidence to prove her wrong, so that one stayed unresolved. I tell her that I'm leaving her. She tells me that she will make sure I never see my kids again if I do. She planned on using the fact that I attempted suicide in high school to prove me unfit to have the children. She continues to say that it was my fault for being busy with work and stressed out, that she just wanted someone she could talk to. Then she gives me an ultimatum to decide what I'm going to do, or she will decide for me. The neighbor's girlfriend starts defending the two of them, saying that it couldn't have been serious if they weren't having sex, and that my wife and I are too perfect to let this break us up. The neighbors go home and my wife and I argue for the rest of the night about what we are going to do. We go to bed separately, having not resolved anything. We keep going back and forth on the subject all weekend and finally settling on we are going to separate temporarily while we figure out what we want. I was going to stay in the house and she was going to take the kids and go to her mom's house. That Monday I go to work and I get a text from her in the middle of a meeting with my bosses stating that she had explained things to her kids, but they were upset and I need to explain it to them also. I get home from work to find my kids crying. She had told them that mommy had to move because dad was mad at her. When my son wanted to stay with me, she told him he can't. My son put it together that if mommy has to move out because I'm mad at her, and he has to move out, then I must have been mad at him too. My daughter was crying because my son was. I don't think she was old enough to understand what was happening. It was at that moment I realized that she was going to drag the kids through hell if I left her, so I swallowed my feelings and begged her to stay. She agreed and insisted that I apologize to her neighbor, since we were still going to have to hang out with them, because our sons are good friends. I hate it, but I do it anyway. We still hang out with them from time to time, and they come to our various birthday and holiday parties. But I do anything for my kids, and I behave civil every time. Things die down again for a while. I still think about it constantly. I worry how I can keep from making her unhappy that she cheats on me again. Then, almost a year from the original incident, around Father's Day again, she sent some pictures again. She claims it was an accident, that she meant to send them to me instead. I don't fully believe her, but I move on anyway. Things have been quiet on that front for about 4 months now, but I still think about it constantly. This is going to sound stupid, but I feel like I have a part of my brain that I can't shut off, that is always thinking. I used to use that to solve programming problems that made me very good at my job, but ever since the incident, the only thing it thinks about is her and him and if I did the right thing. My job performance has suffered and I feel like I haven't gotten sleep in months. I'm afraid that after this much time and the fact that I begged her back, that to say that I want a divorce now would only make her more vindictive toward my children and I. I just feel like I have put myself so deep in a hole that I can never get back out. I haven't really talked to anyone about this. I didn't want to talk to my mom about it because I felt she would treat my wife differently, and I didn't need the two fighting any more than they already do. I tried talking to one friend about it, but his advice was to put my trust in God, but that was not much solace for me as I am an atheist. So I have no clue what to do with my feelings or how to move on from this.
In summary, after he caught his wife cheating, he confronted her about it, and she threatened to take the kids away from him. And so he decided the best choice was to try to make it work for his kids. The issue with that is he couldn't stop thinking about it, and on November 2nd, he decided to take the advice given to him by the Reddit community and file for divorce on his wife, which he finally did on November 16th, 2016. In the early hours the next morning, police received this phone call.
Montgomery County 911, where's your emergency?
203 South Madison Street.
In what town?
Darlington.
Hey, what's going on there?
I just stabbed myself and I killed my 2 children.
You stabbed yourself and killed your 2 children?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what's your name?
Brandi Worley.
Brandi what?
Worley.
Okay. How do you spell your last name?
Worley.
And where are the children at?
In my daughter's room on the floor.
In your daughter's room on the floor? Okay. What's your phone number, Brandi? And what caused you to do this today?
My husband wanted a divorce and wanted to take my kid. I won't let him have my kid.
Okay, and how old are your children?
7 and 3.
10 and 3?
7.
7 and 3?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you stab yourself at?
In the neck.
Okay, are you bleeding?
Yeah, there's blood everywhere.
Okay, and where are you at?
In my living room.
You're in your living room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are you still there? Hello? Okay, where's your husband at?
Downstairs somewhere.
Okay, what's his condition?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him.
And when you say downstairs, is he in a basement or?
Yeah.
Okay, what's his name?
Jason.
Is what?
Jason.
Nathan?
Jason.
Jason? Jason Worley?
Brandi Worley told police that she murdered her 2 children because she didn't want Jason to take them away from her. She went as far as to say, "I did not want him taking them, so I stabbed them. I just wanted to die with them." That night, before everything happened, Brandi went to Walmart and bought a hunting knife, which she used to murder them. She lured her son Tyler into the same room as her daughter Charlie while she was sleeping and started to stab Tyler in the neck. During this, Charlie woke up and she asked what was happening, and her mom just said, "Go back to sleep," and went on to murder Charlie as well. The 911 dispatcher didn't believe what was happening and sent Brandi's mother to go check on the kids and see what was happening. Jason was sleeping in the basement and was only awoken when his mother-in-law found the kids and screamed. According to Jason, when he got upstairs, she said to him, "Now you can't take them away from me." Police arrived at 4:30 a.m. and Brandi was very calm about everything. According to police, she said that she took Benadryl beforehand and that made her calm, but even throughout the court cases, she seemed very calm and matter-of-fact about everything she was saying. Brandi was sentenced to 120 years in prison. Jason posted one more update on Reddit, thanking everybody for their support and talking about how he was doing.
I guess the first question to answer is, how am I doing? And to that I would say I'm doing well. I have bad days, but I would think that is to be expected. It is just important that I, or anyone else going through something, continue to use the support of friends and family, as well as good coping skills, to not let myself be completely defeated on those bad days. I won't lie, I struggle to get back to where I am. For some time I refused to sleep because of combination of fear of what I would wake up to and nightmares about that night. For a time I used alcohol to sleep, but my family loved me enough to take it away from me before it became a damaging and permanent habit. I was hospitalized because I did have thoughts of ending my life because I missed my children so much. From that I learned you should never be ashamed of your mental health, and not seeking treatment will only make things worse, not better. We have all heard it, but if you or a loved one is struggling, seek immediate assistance. Your life is too important to throw away in a moment of weakness. By putting off treatment, I only caused everything else in my life to suffer. I lost my job and became reclusive to the house. But don't worry, I have been back to work since December and have nearly regained my former position and salary, so I am good and require no assistance. The second question would be, how do I feel about the sentencing? That is something that is harder to answer, because no matter what the sentence, nothing will bring back my beloved children. Do I think she should have gotten the death penalty? No, I do not. She wanted to die, and after 9 years of giving her what she wanted when she wanted it, I was not going to give her another thing. Do I think the life sentence will have any appreciable effect on her? I don't know. One thing she always stressed for the entire time that I knew her was that she lived her life without any regrets. Even after I caught her cheating on me, she continued to say she had no regrets. If I can impart on you something that I have learned through all this, it is that you should always take the time to be with the ones you love. It doesn't matter if they're asking you to read The Pokey Little Puppy for the millionth time, or asking you to play Smash Bros, even though you both know they will wipe the floor with you every time. Just do it because you never know what will be the last time. Always make sure they know how much you love them. I had the fortune that the last thing my children ever heard me say was, "I love you. Good night. I'll see you in the morning."